Hi there, boys, girls, and everybody outside and in between. Welcome to February, which of course means a new batch of featured games. The theme for this month is Unsung Heroes. This month I'll be featuring some of the games of my collection that I truly think these are wonderful, amazing games that I've had so much fun with. And for one reason or another, I just don't hear them talked about very much. So I'm considering them some unsung heroes, and I would really like to feature them prominently for a little while. First up is The Duke, put out by Catalyst Games. This is actually one of my favorite games. You can tell by the box. I've had it for quite a while. This is a two-player abstract strategy game, very akin to chess. As you're playing, your goal is to capture your opponent's duke. And to do that, your duke and your other pieces are going to maneuver around the board, and they each have very specific ways that they can maneuver. As I said, very much like chess. What makes the duke different is that all the pieces are these wooden tiles, and the ways that they can move are printed on the tile itself, and after you move one, you flip it over. And on the reverse side, it will have a different way that it can move. So after you move a piece, you flip it over, it's going to have to move somehow differently the next time you use it. Also, unlike chess, this has a bit of a luck factor in it, which I'm not usually a fan of, but it is easily mitigated in the Duke. The only luck involved is when it's your turn, you can either move a piece you have, or you can reach into your bag of pieces, pull one out, and set it on the board, and you never know what that piece is going to be. So there's that little bit of luck, which normally I don't like, but like I said, it is so easily mitigated in the Duke. I have had so much fun with this game over the years, and personally, I would play this over chess any day. That is the Duke. Up next is Cryptid from Osprey Games. This is a deduction game. In Cryptid, somewhere on the map, there is a creature. And each player has one clue as to where that creature may be. So on your turn, you're going to pick a specific spot and ask a specific player if that spot does or does not coincide with the rule that they have. And after enough rounds of that, after enough people have been asked, someone is going to eventually figure out there is only one location on the map that fits everybody's rules, and that is where the creature is. And the first person to figure that out wins. This is a more brain-burny game than I was expecting it to be when I first got it, and that has brought a lot more enjoyment than I was expecting as well. More than once when it comes to someone's turn, and I've done this myself, you just stare at the board and you feel bad for how long you're taking, but you only get so many turns before somebody figures it out. And you don't want to waste any of your questions. So you want to pick the perfect spot to ask about. This is, in my opinion, logical deduction at its finest. So if that's something you enjoy in games, I strongly recommend Cryptid. Next up we have Gravwell, Escape from the Ninth Dimension from Cryptozoic. This is a racing game, more or less. You and the other players are trying to escape a black hole and get out to a safe area, and whoever gets there first is the winner, and everybody else is less fortunate where the black hole is concerned. But the way that movement is handled in Gravwell is unlike any other game I've played, because you don't necessarily always move forward or backward. You are going to move in the direction of whatever object is closest to you on the board. That could be another player, that could be a derelict ship that is abandoned on the map. And you can never be 100% certain when it will be your turn to go. So you can plan on, okay, I know they're going to go before me, so they'll get ahead of me, so if I move closer to them, I'll move forward. But if they play something you don't expect and they end up behind you, you're gonna send yourself pretty far back if you're not careful. This is another fairly crunchy game where you are trying to outwit your opponents and also not think too much, because you may overthink things and get yourself in a worse position. A friend of mine got this for me for my birthday a long time ago, and I've kept it ever since because I love it so much. That is Gravwell. Next is Marrakech by, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this correctly, Gigamic Games. The beauty of Marrakech really comes in the simplicity. On your turn, you are going to point the character in one direction. You're going to roll a die, move that many spaces, and then lay down a carpet. And that's it. And for the first few rounds, this is actually not a highly competitive game. However, as it continues, this becomes surprisingly cutthroat. You'll be wanting to expand the area that your carpets use while also taking away spaces that the other players are using for their carpets. Because the more of your carpets that are connected, the more money that someone is going to owe you if they land on it. This is a fantastically simple and enjoyable game. I have played it with hardcore gamers, with non-gamers, I've played it with family. It always goes over well. From components to how easy the rules are to understand, there's something in here that most everybody will enjoy. That is Marrakech. Next we have Shobu from Smirk and Laughter Games. Shobu is another two-player abstract strategy game. How it's set up is between you and your opponent there are these 4 boards, and each of you have rocks on these boards. Your goal is to knock off all of your opponent's rocks off any one board. And to do that, on your turn, you'll be making 2 moves. One is a passive move and one is an active move. And they have to be the same, but they have to be on different boards. It's hard to explain without an actual visual demonstration in person. But basically, that allows more unexpected, more unorthodox movement as opposed to other abstract games. One thing I really love about Shobu is how timeless it feels. This feels like a game that's been around as long as chess or shogi, but this was only developed and created a few years ago. And the components really help with that. It's rocks, a piece of rope, and some wooden boards. With the feeling of the game itself and how distinct it is in terms of strategy and movement, I am a huge fan of Shobu. The last game we are going to talk about this month is Scoville from Tasty Minstrel Games. In Scoville, you and the other players are pepper farmers, and you are each sharing this same plot. On your turn, you're going to move the farmer to specific places, and that's going to determine what peppers you gain, and with those peppers you'll be able to obtain different things around the board. There is a chili contest you can participate in. There is a farmer's market that will let you get other things that are helpful later in the game. And as you continue, you are going to grow and harvest more and more rare peppers. One of my favorite things about Scoville is the humor. The chili recipes have names like Fire in the Bowl and Jalapeno Business. Just a lot of humor coming from alliteration in the rulebook and some clever wordplay throughout the rest of the cards. On top of that, just a very fun game. This is slightly on the heavier side. I would not recommend this for necessarily new gamers, but it's not too complex. It's in a very nice medium spot. I honestly don't know if this is in print right now, but if you can come across a copy, I strongly recommend it. It is a lot of fun, with marvelous components, and a lot of attention to detail that went into the production of this game. And I would love to see it get some more recognition. That is Scoville. And now, time to organize. And those are this month's featured games. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments some games that you think are underrated, something that you consider an unsung hero for board gaming. I would love to hear it. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.